Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive, and we are driving 2022 Volvo XC40 Recharge electric SUV. So we have driven the previous version in the fall in the warm weather. Now we're doing the winter driving test to give you an idea of the range, experiences, charging, etc. So first of all, some of the new things since the previous model we drove. Let's turn the car on. As you can see, we are at 88% level. In order to turn a car, like in the previous edition, there is no start-stop button. You just put your foot on the brake and put it in gear, and the car is on automatically. So the nice thing is that they listen to us or listen to other feedback from other owners, and now you finally have the map showing in the middle of the dashboard, which is great. So thank you for that. Another suggestion we made last time, let's adjust the steering wheel. So the steering wheel is still adjusted manually. The other suggestion we made was that there should be a range remaining somewhere here on the main dash. Right now you only have the display for battery percentage, so as you can see it's showing 88%. It shows you the consumption for this trip meter, 30.5. This was including our city and highway driving. We just drove about 300 kilometers to Midland and back. And we found a way in this particular version of the car to find out what the range remaining is. So let me show you how to get to that screen. Again, in our opinion, like with all other electric cars, you should have option to see it right here. That's fine. So the way you get to it is you go to your menus, and as you can see right here, second line from the bottom, you see the range assistant. You click on that and you have your range remaining. You also have something called, gives you your current consumption. You have something called the range optimizer. When you click on it, it says turn on range optimizer. Your vehicle will maximize range by limiting climate control functionalities. If you turn it on, I don't see any difference, to be honest, but I guess it's probably saving on fan speed, amount of heat that it provides. My issue with that is in the winter, we found that this car fogs up quite a bit. As you can see, my window is pretty fogged up. The other window was as well. And even when I was driving by myself, the car tends to fog up. And the only way to get rid of it is by pressing the front defrost. As you can see, the climate control consumption goes red. And of course, within a minute or so, it'll get rid of the fogged up windows. When I was driving in a snowstorm, even the front window was fogging up. So I really had to, every few minutes, had to turn it on the maximum defrost. So again, you can, if you're concerned about your range left, keep the range assistant on. It would be nice to have your navigation here, but since you have it now on the main dashboard, it doesn't matter. Most people are used to main screen being used for either navigation or entertainment, radio and such. In this car, as you know, it's driven by a Google system, so you can talk to Google. Hey Google, what's my range remaining?
You can drive for about 230 kilometers with the remaining charge.
There you go. So it corresponds to this range assistant, and you can ask Google for quite a few things. You can activate radio stations, change radio stations, and such. So we haven't signed into Google yet, so we don't know what new apps are available compared to our previous experience. So you do not have Android Auto here. It's all Google based. So the apps that are available through Android Auto are not necessarily available here, and apps available for Volvo are not necessarily available on Android Auto. So we're just used to using our phone in Android Auto mode. So it's kind of a slightly different approach. Okay, so let's hit the road. As you can see, the nice 360 view around the car for parking, plus you have the sensors front and back, of course. Our experience with this car in the winter, as we mentioned, after driving to our lake house and back, roughly 300 kilometers, the consumption was around 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is just slightly below our Audi e-tron, which is a bigger car. It has a same horsepower rating of 400 horsepower, all-wheel drive, but e-tron is, bigger and heavier. So perhaps it's the boxy shape of this car, the aerodynamics not being the best, is what's causing the consumption to be so high. So given that consumption with a 78 kilowatt hour net size battery, your winter range appears to be only around 250 to 60 kilometers. And then for most people, that'll be fine. If your cottage is within that distance and to get there in the winter without having to recharge, that's fine. In the warmer weather in the fall, our range was well above 300 kilometers. It was around 350 kilometers. So again, this is our experience for this winter test drive. Other than that, the car has now snow tires, and we were driving through a snowstorm. It felt very sure-footed, no issues whatsoever. It was very stable driving on snow on the highway, so no issues there at all. Driving in and out of snowbanks with lots of snow, very deep snow. Again, no problem. The all-wheel drive system here in the Volvo works very well. So we'll try and demonstrate again the auto steer system on the Volvo. We're gonna turn it on momentarily. So you do it by pressing this button, center button here on the steering wheel. There we go. So the auto steer is on now. There's a bit of a snow and the road markings are not very clear, so it may not work very well. So our feeling is that the car stays too close to the right side. There's a car next to us on the right side, so I have to keep an eye on it. We'll see how it handles this turn. Somebody's in our blind spot permanently, so I won't let it drive. There you go. It's adjusting, it's turning. A little too close to the right side for me, so I feel myself pulling always away from the right side, so pulling to the left always, putting pressure on it. Other than that, it works fine, and the system will warn you to take over, of course, if it doesn't feel that you're pulling on the steering wheel. So it's adjusting nicely. Hold steering wheel, there you go. So it's warning, and as you can see, the windows are fogging up. Both the driver's side and the passenger side is fogging up. So again, the only way to help it, put it on max defrost, which will make a lot of noise. But you gotta do what you gotta do. The car really didn't change much since last model year. We know that Volvo should be introducing a front-wheel drive cheaper model. It hasn't been announced. It's not on the Volvo website. Its cousin Polestar 2 has announced already the pricing and the front-wheel drive version of the car. The Polestar 2 starts at $49,000 for the front-wheel drive, 200 horsepower. And then the all-wheel drive 400 horsepower starts at only 56. This Volvo here, as we're driving it, starts at 59 for the all-wheel drive 400 horsepower version. Again, there is no pricing yet for the front-wheel drive, or as a matter of fact, no confirmation at all that the front-wheel drive will make it here. So for now, only the all-wheel drive version is available, starting at 59,000. As we're driving it here, it's around 67,000 with all the options. Okay, so there we go. Adaptive cruise should kick in very shortly, and you can adjust the distance, of course, from the car in front of you. Well, there you go. It's braking nicely, steering and braking. Hold the steering wheel, it's telling me. So again, you have to move the wheel substantially to delete the warning, and it doesn't start by itself. You have to press on the accelerator to start the car going after it stops. So there's no stop and go function in this adaptive cruise. As you can see, the range is going down. We're not sure what those other two numbers are, the minimum and maximum, kind of like Chevy Bolt. You see 210 minimum, 380 maximum with the current state of charge, which is 86%. So I guess it's hoping that in the summer we would have been able to drive over 400 kilometers. I don't think that's realistic. I'm not sure where that number comes from. We did try to reach that 400 kilometer range in the warmer weather. We were not able to. We got high 300s, driving very, very carefully without any climate. So this, 410 range at full is pretty optimistic. I don't know if it's WLTP or one of the other more optimistic ratings. Anyways, it's good to see here the range assistant finally, and to be able to see how many kilometers you can still drive. And it shows you the energy usage, so it shows you how much the energy is being used for climate control, your driving style, and the speed. So obviously we're driving in a city at pretty low speeds, so the speed has the least effect. Driving style, we're just trying to keep up with the traffic, so it's kind of below half. So I think we're being pretty economical with our driving. And of course the climate control, it being the winter and the temperature dropping, currently it's -7 and it's going down. The climate control, is, as you can see, is using most of the power of the battery. And then we're fogging up again, so we have to turn on the maximum defrost. And as you can see, the climate controls goes to red when you do that. Just makes sense. Using a lot of kilowatts to power that maximum heating and defrosting. We want to show you some of the slight cosmetic differences that have been made to the car. Of course, this particular car is a two-tone paint. So you have like an off-white light gray color with a black roof. The bottom of the bumper has been changed slightly. The lights are still the same. The design for the Thor's hammer is still here. All the sensors are here in the front. And the differentiation from the gas model is the grille, which is missing. It's just all blanked out. So that's still the same. Just the bottom part has been changed. This is now a chrome colored bottom of the grille. The fog lamps are still located here. You have the headlight washers here. So the wheels are a little bit different as well. So these ones here are the snow tires. You have 19-inch rims. They're slightly different than the last year. You have, of course, options to choose different rims as you wish. Nice two-tone again with black roof. So let's show you the back of the car. So you have the Recharge Twin badge here. Again, the bottom of the Volvo XC40 Recharge has been slightly redesigned with different shape lights and such, but they are very, very subtle differences from previous year. We will not give you the full interior view because you can go back and view our summer video that we posted in October of the same car being tested in summer conditions. So we will just wanted to simply show you the differences between the summer driving and winter driving, also both ranges, and the differences to this year's model, which are very, very subtle. So please go back and view the full video review from the summer in order to see the interior of the car and the trunk and the back space. But it's a nice and spacious car. Of course, it's still a compact SUV, but it's quite spacious with very high driving position. All right, so that's about it for this edition of TEVAdrive. Thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/RASZEW. Thanks for watching.